Perfect. Make sure everything's working. If you guys are watching this and can see it, let me know in the comments if you can. But I assume it is all working. So appreciate anyone's patience. A little bit of a delay trying to get everything together on this, but I appreciate the patience. So, beginning. All right. All right, guys, welcome to our July, well, it's like a June, July nutrition talk. My name's EJ, and I'm the nutrition coach for 346 Grit CrossFit, also a CrossFit coach. But today's nutrition talk is called Happy Gut, Happy Life. And really, we're going to focus on 3 simple tips for improving your gut health and how it can apply in how your progress towards your goals. So at 346 Grit, we actually partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition, who are a great foundational company when it comes to nutrition coaching. And this is really in an effort to support our clients, really using a framework that is guided, tested, and overly proven, really. But we obviously know that helping you become the best and healthiest version of yourself isn't just about what you eat or going to the gym just a few hours a week. We have to focus on a holistic approach, addressing nutrition, sleep, stress, and all these other areas. So this is Healthy Steps Nutrition, part of some of their team members. They've helped over 45,000 people really reach their end goals with 346 Grit. We've actually helped hundreds of people reach their health and wellness goals. One thing we do have to focus on, and we talked about some, but we haven't talked about it enough. And with our supplement podcast, we will be touching more of that. But just a hint for you guys. But one thing we have to focus on is really finding success and harmony within our gut health. If you didn't know, our bodies actually contain trillions of different bacteria. So when we hear bacteria, we might think of like kind of a negative connotation with it, but bacteria in and around our body are crucial for health, especially gut health. When we discuss bacteria in our gut, we usually refer to this as our gut microbiota. The term gut microbiota really refers to the many microorganisms that live within our body, and more importantly, typically our gastrointestinal system. This is also commonly referred to as the gut flora or gut microbiome. So these microorganisms play a crucial role in maintaining digestion and overall health, including our metabolism, immune system, hormone balance, and even mental health. They sometimes refer to as the gut as the second brain. But the gut microbiota is super complex and a dynamic system that can be influenced by a variety of factors, including our diet, our lifestyle, and even genetics. So, in order to gain a better understanding, it's important that we recognize that our gut bacteria. Wow, I'm gonna get all tripped up on these words today. Consists of various populations or types of bacteria that contribute to your overall health. Various groups of organisms are in kind of competition for these resources to sustain and proliferate. And the nourishment we obtain from our diet and surroundings is a major contributing factor to this overall rivalry. So I did put an example here. So like there's quite a bit of studies that have examined the what we call the Western diet and how it impacts our gut health. And these studies have found that the Western diet, which is typically high in processed or refined foods, saturated fats, added sugars, can lead to a decrease in the overall diversity of good gut bacteria and then a higher count of more harmful species. But even furthermore, um, these studies actually revealed that following this dietary trend can lead to reduction in the production of what are called short chain fatty acids within our body. And these acids are essential to maintaining the health of our gut, as they really aid in regulating our immune function, metabolism, our hormone health, and just overall well being of our gut lining. Uh, and if there is this major shift, it can lead to inflammation, you know, gut disorders, poor gut lining, really just an increased risk of health complications, including through the route of obesity, metabolic disorders, inflammatory, IBS, um, and possibly even certain cancers. Now, contrarily, there is research that has found that eating more whole foods, which focus on minimally processed foods, has had a positive impact on gut health by promoting the healthy gut bacteria. Now, this healthy shift leads to essentially reduced gut inflammation, overall improved gut barrier function, and it can reduce the risk of chronic disease, as I mentioned earlier. Uh, this research is finding that what people are consuming in their diet has a more powerful effect on the makeup of the microbiomes in their genetics. And that's a huge deal. So we have a baseline understanding now of the importance of a healthy gut and how our food can impact it. So, how can we start to trust our gut? And this is where we're going to dive into these 3 tips of how you can start to take action today to really improve your gut health. Tip 1, we just talked about it, focusing on whole foods first with an emphasis on variety of fruits and vegetables. After discussing how our diet has an impact on our gut microbiota, and then its overall diversity, it helps us to really to understand that focusing on whole foods first is and will always be, and you guys have heard it in other videos, our number 1 tip. Being that we should focus on eating more whole foods, which these can include uh, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, all these things. These can really provide your body with dietary fibers. And that's a big one, and also essential nutrients that over in the long term aid in the growth of good bacteria in your gut, like bifidobacteria and I'm butcher every time. It's lactobacillus, I butcher every time. But these are very, very essential nutrients. And then overall, studies have found that the whole foods diet can increase the production of these short chain fatty acids, which I mentioned prior, which are very important for gut health and really overall health. And these short chain fatty acids have anti-inflammatory properties that are involved in regulating immune function, maintaining the integrity of the gut lining, and overall regulating metabolism. And lastly, that consuming a variety of diverse whole foods, essentially, fruits and vegetables, really helps provide our body with a plethora of antioxidants that have shown to protect the lining of our gut by controlling that inflammation. And this decreased inflammation allows our healthy gut bacteria to really flourish. Here's kind of like a pro tip on some of this. Start slow. So when it comes to eating more fruits and vegetables, start slow. Kind of, for example, if you're currently only eating about maybe like 1 cup or 1 fist veggies at dinner, next week make it a goal to add the same amount at lunchtime. Just prep some extra veggies when cooking dinner for the next day. But once you start to add 2 fists of veggies at dinner while maintaining the first at lunch, then once that feels easy, try 2 fists of vegetables or about half your plate at lunch and dinner. And over time, we can kind of get more to that plate method, about where we end up looking at about a half plate of veggies, quarter plate of starch, and quarter plate of protein with a little bit of added fat. Really, one of my favorite places to add fruits include snack pairing with like yogurts and almonds. I love pairing fruit with yogurt. Kind of a side one to that, also mentioned before, eating more fruits and vegetables will increase your fiber intake, which is always a good thing. Tip 2, consume pre and probiotics. So pre and probiotics play a very important role in our gut health. So prebiotics are the non-digestible fibers that are fermented by the bacteria in our gut, which allows them to grow and multiply. Kind of think of this as the food for the bacteria. Probiotics are the actual live microorganisms that provides us with the many benefits that I've already discussed. So let's start with our prebiotics, or i.e. fiber. More recently, in the last few years, a study published in actually 2017, I have it in my notes here, found that fiber allows our gut health, or our healthy gut bacteria, to thrive, leading to thicker mucus walls, decreased inflammation, and better digestion. So really what this research was looking at, and what they did was they searched for diets higher or highest in fiber, to get a better really understanding when they found that the certain groups had higher amounts of fiber in their diet. As a result, they had a more diverse bacteria count within their digestive tract or in their gut. Now, what I do want to set out there is that what we have to do is don't take this information and go, oh, I need to eat fiber and eat like 50, 60, 70, 100 plus grams of fiber every day, because then you're going to probably run into issues. Too much fiber too fast can cause serious distress in our GI, gastrointestinal tract, leading to gas, bloating, or constipation. Just aim to include about 25 to 30 grams of fiber each day. Some foods that are consistent with being great in prebiotics includes fruits that like bananas, and vegetables that are like green onions, overall a lot of our greens as well, onions and even garlic. Um, then there are some nuts and whole grains that have it as well. Now, probiotics can be found in more of the fermented foods, which are like your kefirs, your yogurts. Well, those aren't necessarily fermented, but um, more like your sauerkraut, um, kombucha, even tempeh, good one. Kimchi, that's always good. Um, and they have what are called live cultures or active cultures in them, which we usually recommend about consuming 10 to 20 billion CFUs to support a healthy gut and strong immune system. Tip number 3. Really, the final tip is to manage your stress, which this actually might surprise you more than anything. So this whole I'm throwing a lot of research at you guys today in this one. So another one I had in my notes for this one is that recent research actually shed a big light when it came to the connection between our gut health and our mental health. This is why I said at the beginning, our gut is like a second brain. It's become more and more clear that these two are very, very closely linked. Our brain here and our brain down here. And can impact each other in various ways. Okay, well, why? Well, the gut and brain are connected through what's called the gut brain axis, which is a complex communication system, which involves really your nervous system, the immune system, and as well as with the endocrine system. But our gut is providing the axis with all these neurotransmitters, these hormones, and signaling molecules that influence our brain and behavior. When we have poor gut health, we have, which we have discussed, the increase of inflammation, which affects our brain, leading to mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, even cognitive issues. And earlier on, I did touch upon the importance of gut health in aiding in digestion. In cases of poor gut health, deficiencies in essential nutrients such as your omegas, your B vitamins, even magnesium, can be linked as well to depression. They even had another one, a study I had in here. There was a random controlled trial that they put. Trying to summarize, I had a lot of notes on this. They actually surprisingly found quick recovery with some of the. So it was a randomized controlled trial that put this to the test about stress, your digestion, and how it affects your brain and your behaviors. Really, the study found that the participants that were provided some vitamin B12, some folic acid, what else? And I can't remember, some magnesium each day led way more to rapid recovery from major depression in a week's time. So what this is saying, that ensuring that you're getting these micronutrients or these vitamins and nutrients in your gut can have a direct impact on depression, anxiety, your overall behavior. But also keep in mind that you shouldn't just be adding any supplementation to your diet. With our first discussion, based on our first discussion, without discussing this obviously with your primary doctor. don't go out and just buy all these vitamins and nutrients for several reasons. One, are you going to be consistent with it? And two, actually, this should be reversed. First, don't do it without talking to your doctor. Secondly, be realistic. Are you going to keep up with it? So tying everything back to this stress management, again, there are some studies that have shown that our gut influences the release of hormones, and more specifically, stress hormones such as cortisol, which that can play a huge factor on your progress towards your journey. Cortisol can affect your metabolism, your um, eating hormones, and overall dysregulation can contribute to additional mental health complications. But I did want to give you guys a few tips when it comes to managing your stress. One, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply a way to present in your surrounding and your thoughts and behaviors. I say present. It's a way to be present in your surroundings, your thoughts and behaviors. This is really just finding center, finding peace, letting your mind process, and possibly find some clarity. And some good ways to practice this is kind of that box breathing method. I've talked with some clients, meditation, possible yoga, or finding something that can give you the same effect. Secondly, move your body. Exercise is amazing. It is such a powerful way to manage stress. Exercise reduces our cortisol, and in the long term, reduces our cortisol levels and increases those really feel good endorphins. So if working out feels like a big task, make it easier. Try walking outside for like 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes after lunch. But yeah, that's kind of the notes I had. Exercise reduces our cortisol and increases those feel good endorphins. And then the last one, prioritize self-care. We need to take time for ourselves every single day. Try reading a book rather than always, scrolling through social media. Spend more time outside with nature or with family, going for a hike, having a picnic, especially with the beautiful weather we're having right now. This is really to ensure that you're connecting with yourself and nature, friends, and family on a regular basis. So, kind of the HSN principles and the GRIT principles we all lived by. One, focus on whole foods first. It was the first tip in this presentation, and it's also one of the basic principles that we live by. We talk about eating whole foods first. Classic quote from Greg Glassman: "Eat meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar." When we talk about no sugar, it's no added sugar, or limiting your added sugars. Number two, focus on balance and macronutrients. When we say balance, we mean, does every meal and snack you consume contain carbs, protein, fat? Pairing meals like this helps keep you fuller for longer, and then most people will feel their best while fueling their busy days and activity with proper balance. And typically I aim with clients about 40% carbohydrates, 30% fat, and 30% protein. And obviously this does alter dependent on the individual. And number three was limit the amount of processed carbohydrates and sugar. And again, talking about sugar, talk about added sugars. And I've talked about before in the past in other videos about how much the AHA, American Heart Association, recommends. And that's usually about 6 teaspoons or about 26 grams for women and 9 teaspoons for men, which is right around 36 grams for men. But overall, we typically see these days, it might be on a downward curve more and more. But more recently, we saw that Americans were consuming over 150 pounds of sugar every year, which is about 46 teaspoons per day, when our recommendation is 6 and 9. It's not really ever surprising because sugar is addictive, and it feels hidden in just about every food product you can find today. So I had some FAQs, frequently asked questions, when it comes to this sort of topic. First, do I need to take supplements? We will expand on this in the future when I work with our partners at Swolverine. So after hearing some of the studies today, you might be thinking, why don't I just go get supplements for all these? I can't get it from all my foods, or that's too much work to do it from all my foods. Well, it's not always necessary to take supplements to meet your nutritional needs. While supplements can be helpful, it's generally better to obtain your nutrients from whole foods whenever possible. And whole foods will typically provide a variety of nutrients, including your vitamins, minerals, your fibers, your antioxidants, all that. And so they can work together to promote health and well-being. And additionally, whole foods often contain other beneficial compounds that supplements don't, like phytochemicals, which have like anti-inflammatory effects, and possible anti-cancer properties. So nothing's wrong with taking supplements. Just always, one, talk with your doctor, and two, right off the bat, be realistic with it. Also, talk with an expert. If it's not your primary doctor, that should be number 3. 1, talk with your doctor. 2, be realistic. 3, talk with an expert when it comes to supplementation, which isn't always your primary doctor. Secondly, and I've had this on several presentations, what if I don't like veggies? And I've heard this so many times. I'm sure if you guys have watched other videos, you've heard it multiple times. More often than not, it's usually that you just haven't found the way you like them. You can roast your veggies, air fry, grill them if you want. Some people like steamed, but then sometimes it gets mushy. If you want to get real creative, you can try to sneak them into your protein sources, like mushrooms into ground beef, or you could do that same with broccoli and like ground turkey. Find the choice broccoli into your meats, just to help with not only volume in your food, but as well as you're increasing the fiber content and the micronutrient content within it. Lastly, I put this on every single slide, but when it comes to like where you should start, it's always a great question, and I never know who's going to be watching that's new. When you focus on one thing, you're about 80% likely to be successful at maintaining that one thing. And that's why we focus on starting with one thing at a time. Because when we start adding more and more, that percentage of actually being successful with it goes down. And so today, we discuss the many reasons why you should focus on your gut health, which include improved digestion and overall health, a stronger immune system, even a decrease to the risk for chronic illness, and just overall improved mental health. So as you think about the 3 tips of eating whole foods, increasing pre and probiotics, and then managing your stress, where do you feel within those 3 you have the most room for improvement? And how can you start to take action? So maybe you're thinking, all this sounds great, but I really need support and possible accountability, which is awesome because that's what I'm here for. I work one-on-one with clients to set goals, create a plan, focusing on one thing at a time. And then through that process, I help keep them accountable to those goals. When we develop personalized support and accountability, when we implement that, it's really what sets us apart from a lot of other cookie cutter programs out there. And I always love to walk beside someone on their health and wellness journey, however I can. So, but getting started super easy. You can go to our website, look at the information, send me an email. You can see on the screen here. You've got my little tag. It's Instagram. You can message me on there. You can message our gym. Really book a free intro for you and I to sit down and talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and your vision. And then we'll figure out which is the best plan for you based on where you're at in your journey. From there, we'll get you signed up, and we will start the process in creating a plan. And throughout the duration we work together, you'll have support and accountability from me as your coach. And really, the last bit is that I can't ever wait for someone to really become the best and healthiest version of themselves, which that is the end goal. And we figure out all that through our coaching. So today, second recap, just to finish it all off. Again, our 3 tips today were eating whole foods, increasing your pre and probiotics, and then stress management. And then when it comes to stress management, we had some tips in that realm as well. When it comes to a little bit like box breathing, taking time for self-reflection and putting yourself in your own environment, exercise, all these things that can help manage your stress. If you guys have any questions about what we did in the presentation today, let me know. I am always looking to improve and make things better for your experience. This is all free advice, not advice, but free experience, free knowledge, non-bias. But if you guys ever need help, please do not hesitate to reach out and just ask questions. All right. Always here to answer questions. And then if we need to go deeper and actually look at coaching, we can set up that intro. I appreciate you guys taking the time today to hang out with me. And I look forward to doing the next nutrition talk. Take care. Talk to y'all later.